Hi Donny, how are you? You okay?
I'm good, Martin. How are you doing?
Good, good. Excellent. So welcome to your professional discussion and reflective account, we call it. So just for the purpose of the recording, can you confirm your full name and date of birth?
Yeah, it's Donny Docherty McLeod, and my date of birth is the 3rd of the 1st, 1987.
Excellent, no problem. Martin Crankshaw, I'm your assessor, as you know, because I've been dealing with you for a while. So I'm the assessor for the ProQual Level 6 Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety. So also, do you consent to this being uploaded to your portfolio and recorded for educational purposes only?
Yep, that's
Yep.
fine.
Excellent, excellent. So as I say, we had a discussion before detailing what's going to happen, and we're going to cover questions based on the 10 units. So as I say, yeah, so we kind of usually just start with the first part, which is introduction questions, straight into unit one, straight into unit two, etc. If you need to stop at any time, as I mentioned before, we started the recording, just let me know. And if you need a cup of tea, a drink, we usually aim for around about an hour.
Yeah,
Try not to get into too many other discussions that are random, so we kind of try and stick to the questions. So, but
yeah,
anything you're not sure of, I'll probably ask the question in different ways, just in case it's down to how I asked the question in the first place. So,
no
so looking at
worries.
the introduction questions. So, can you tell me just a little bit about your organisation and your role within the organisation and what the organisation does?
Yeah, so I work for Van Odd. It's a marine-based company, and the type of work we carry out is dredging works, wind farms, water injection systems, mostly offshore-based, but we also do onshore stuff as well.
Excellent.
My role within Van Oord is I've been a HSE coordinator for the last 2, 3 years, but I've also been doing manager roles as well. So it's been probably more so manager now than I am coordinator, but it's not official yet.
Excellent. As I say, we've known each other for how many years now? You were my NEBOS student, so it's good to
Ten
kind of
years.
take you on this journey through from
Yeah,
NEBOS right through to NVQ level 6, and then obviously your fire risk assessment, which you've just signed up for. So your health
yeah,
and safety journey, that's it. So excellent,
yeah.
pleasure, as I say. So
hmm
do you feel you managed to relate the NVQ level 6 to specification to the activities you carried out within your company?
Yes, I've been able to apply quite a bit of it. A lot of it's new to what I've been doing as well, but I definitely feel that the course has benefited me and the company as well. So yeah,
Excellent, good. And do you feel the organisation? I know the thing is quite a big organisation, isn't it? But international, isn't it? Quite an international kind
yeah,
of huge. But maybe just the parts, the areas that you look after, or parts of the business you look after. Do you feel it had a good standard of health and safety at the beginning of the qualification,
yeah. I
compared to
think
what it is now?
I think, and we've got work all over the world. So in different countries, there's unfortunately, different standards of where you're working. Like for instance, the UK is a better standard than what it is in Asia, for instance. So. It does come with different challenges, but Van Oord as a whole, they do have a good standard and safety culture. It's just trying to implement it in these different countries with limited resources, etc.
Yeah, yeah, and different cultures and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Have you saw improvements then in terms of the areas you look after
Yes,
from
I
what
would
you
say
from what
so.
you've
Yeah.
implemented? Sorry, from what you've implemented.
Yeah, I have seen improvements yet, but there's always room for further improvements. I feel. So
Excellent, excellent.
yeah.
And do you feel the organisation supported you through the qualification, the
Yeah,
time and
yeah, they
things
did.
like that?
Yeah, they gave me the time, and also when I was looking for guidance and evidence and stuff, the managing directors and managers made the time available to us as well. So that was good.
Excellent, good, good. So what we'll do is we'll just each unit now just has a few questions, kind of three, four, five questions each.
Yeah,
So we'll just touch on unit one, and if you remember, unit one it was all about the health and safety culture and promoting the benefits of a health and safety culture, or promoting the benefits of a positive health and safety culture. So can you explain or just give me some examples of some of the activities you conducted, to promote the benefits of a positive health and safety culture? Was it a poster, presentation, for example?
Yeah, well, we did like a stand down with everybody in a safety culture presentation, in the project in Millport, and we were all just demonstrating the leadership from myself and the project manager, the main people on the job, demonstrating their commitment, good communications, include the workforce, opened the floor up to everybody and allowed feedback for improvement and engagement as well. So yeah, that's the sort of things that we did regarding Unit One.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Millport in the documents. Is it the Millport, the island Millport, or
Yeah,
not
it was a
Millport?
flood
Right, the same
defence.
Millport, right? Okay.
It was a flood defence project, so
Ah, right, okay.
it's good.
Flood defence. Was the coastal roads quite low, or is it?
They had major flooding at times, so and there was loads of complaints from the locals, as you can imagine. But without that defence work, the Millport would be no more. So
Aye. Mm,
yeah, so it was quite severe and urgent. So it came with challenges as well, being on an island, but it's a good
yeah, yeah.
experience.
At least you can cycle around it. That's it.
Yeah,
Aye. I was going to go there a few weeks ago when I was back home and it was sunny and I thought I'd take the ferry over to Millport. I think it's 10 kilometres, isn't it? I think
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was going to walk around it, but and then I think it rained that day anyway. I thought that's good. I'm not going to bother.
Nah, just as well. Aye, so it's decent.
Might get flooded in. So, can you talk me through various communication that took place with people outside the company? Maybe enforcement authorities, insurance companies, things like that. So,
We did a lot of we did a lot of workshops. We were heavily involved with the community as well, like as a considerate contractor as well. So we we did a lot of community engagements, sent out newsletters fortnightly, um, held a lot of feedback sessions in our offices as well with the public. Yeah, is that enough answers there, Martin? Or do we
yeah,
need?
no, that's fine. That's fine.
Aye.
So, and how did you gain support from those in the organisation that can promote the health and safety culture? So, whether it's gaining support from directors and managers, and so basically people that are not in your team. So,
Yeah, so we basically just reiterated the importance of it comes from the top down, so that message was put that to the directors and higher level management that their commitment and their presence on site with the guys was paramount importance.
so good bit of visibility, being there, engaging with
Yeah,
staff. Yeah, yeah, excellent.
yeah,
So looking at Unit 2, and I'll link Unit 2 and with Unit 9. If you remember, Unit 2 was all about health and safety policies, but what we created as a task was actually to do an audit,
yeah.
which is what would actually, get people to look at the policy and ask questions on the policy during the audit. Yeah, to establish, the policy and the effectiveness of it and whether it's communicated, etc. So we kind of, and we tie that in with the Unit 9, which is management system audit. Yeah, if you remember that.
Mm,
So can you
yeah.
talk me through, in relation to the audit you conducted, can you talk me through from start to finish, how you developed the audit form and how you then used that to conduct the audit?
First steps we took was to understand what we were auditing and why we were auditing. Did some research on ISO standards as well to make sure that we were getting the right questions in to then develop a checklist. And then we prepare people and train them on how we're going to do the audit. We then schedule and carry out the audit. I would also look at analysing the findings, sitting down with the team after we've conducted an audit and discuss what we found and how we're going to make rectifications. And then obviously we'll issue the report and carry out like a follow up towards the end. And any of the findings from the audit we would put into an action tracker, project wide action tracker.
Excellent, excellent. And then from that, you then created a health and safety policy. Was that, I can't remember, was that the same company you created it for?
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
So we'd obviously the three main parts with the statement of intent, arrangements, and roles and responsibilities as well. So put that in place, put procedures in place as well to back up the policy. Then we implemented it through toolbox talks, inductions, procedures, incorporating into RAMs, safe systems of work, etc., etc. So
No problem. And then notice board and stuff like that, didn't you? So
yeah,
excellent. And unit three. So unit three was all about communication.
yeah.
Can be communicating in different ways. One of the kind of more straightforward units, because part of the, everything you do in the course is communicating the findings and discussing ideas and suggestions through consultation, etc. So for
hmm
unit three, can you talk me through the different communication systems that you set up? So when I say communication system, maybe it is you introduced a notice board which you didn't have before, or you introduced a certain type of meeting, or maybe you didn't do toolbox talks, but you introduced that. Did you introduce anything yourself, or is it stuff that was already there?
No, well, believe it or not, for such a big company, we never actually had safety delegates meetings or head of department meetings.
Right.
So
Okay.
I introduced them. I brought that to Van Org from previous companies. Being a Dutch company, they didn't really see the value in these sort of things. So I was like, no, it's good for sharing lessons learned, for instance, safety observations. And it also gives the workforce the opportunity to speak as well. So and recorded. So yeah, so I introduced a safety delegates meeting, head of departments meeting on this project.
Excellent. Excellent. And did you have to liaise with any trade associations, trade unions, contractors? Probably yes, wouldn't it? And then any other interested
Yeah,
parties? Well, you said
yeah.
interested parties as the Millport meetings and community engagement groups, but do you have to deal with any trade unions at all? Because I know some countries maybe
No,
trade
we never had
unionised. No.
trade unions, but we obviously we had a lot of subcontractors in Millport, so there was a lot of subcontractor engagement, and that they conclude them, and if there's instance lessons learned, and safe, develop safety flashes and stuff, and shared that amongst all the contractors as well. So
Go through that.
toolboxes, etc.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. So on to, let's see, unit four. Okay.
Yeah,
So unit four, if you remember, was all about training and competency. Okay, I know this was
yeah.
all a while ago, but I'll just kind of give you a reminder. So unit four, all about training and competency, from the training matrix right through to developing a course and then
hmm
running a course. Okay. So first of all, can you talk through the first part, which was determining the competency within the organization? So whether that's looking at maybe developing a training matrix, looking at the organizational structure, and maybe looking at job descriptions and adding health and safety related requirements into them, for example. So,
Yeah, so when I first went, I was responsible for setting up training matrix. So I had to look at the organisation chart, comms flows, job descriptions, as you mentioned there. Also, before I did this course, I never ever done a training needs analysis, so that was a good learner for me to put that in place. We also when we did the training matrix, we incorporated a lot of UK based courses that were required to work in the UK. With it being a Dutch company, they don't always see the need for a mental health first aider, for instance, or advanced first aiders, on site. So these are things that we put in place on Millport as well.
yeah, good, good. Okay. And internal train. Sorry, did you have to get any external trainers, companies to run training for you before you then maybe looked at internal kind of,
Um,
people to train for
eh,
you?
so I don't think we brought any external trainers in.
Or did you send them anywhere
Off the top of
else?
my head. No, I think sorry, we did for a confined space rescue. We brought a external rescue company in, working the heights. So we did that, but I created internal trainings and took information from our safe work practices. So for uh, I think on the course I did a hot work one regarding yeah, it was hot work training. We've also done ones in house trainings for manual handling and stuff as well. So I developed a short, I don't know, 10, 12 slide presentation and rolled it out to the guys just as an awareness sort of thing based on our
Right.
safe work practices.
Obviously, get feedback from it.
Yeah,
Um,
so we did a lesson plan, and we also did got a questionnaire together, issued it to the guys, and just asked them for what they thought of the course and how we can improve it. So that was good
was
learning
was
as
there any
well.
improvements to be made? You remember?
Um, Off the top of my head, I think one of the comments that did come back was, can the instructor speak English? Talk about me.
I do, eh?
Because it's obviously all Dutch people, but
Oh, the
and
Dutch
my,
always have comments. Off the record, but
my
the Dutch will. I used to work for when I worked for SurviveX. We had Dutch people come over to train,
yeah,
and they would always comment. They would always have feedback, negative feedback. They would always,
yeah,
it's too long, or they're quite honest, as opposed to
yeah.
the British probably just tick, yeah, everything's good, yes, 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 fantastic,
It was a
so.
dialect issue. I think they thought, you can't really understand me speaking sometimes. So I said, you're not the only one, but there we go.
That's it. Your posh voice. You need your posh Glaswegian voice, not your Gorbals voice. That's it.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
All right, mate. That's it.
Right. Mm.
Right. What was I saying there? So, yep. Um, yes, you've answered the next question without me asking it about developing a training course. So, Unit
Yeah,
5. Okay. So Unit 5 is all about risk assessment, starting off with a risk assessment procedure, and then looking to either looking to create a general risk assessment, whether that's an area one, for example, maybe, or a task
yeah,
risk assessment, and then a specific risk assessment, whether it's manual handling, display screen equipment, or COSH, for example. Okay.
yeah.
So can you talk me through the procedure itself and the implementation of the procedure?
Yeah, it's similar to what we discussed earlier on. You were defining the purpose, the scope, where, how, assigning roles and responsibilities, who's responsible for conducting risk assessments and reviewing them. Um, and then we choose the format and how we're going to how is it going to look. So we standardised the form with the risk matrix in place as well. We also did the 5 steps to risk assessment with identifying who's at risk, identifies hazards, sorry. We would do that by conducting inspections and walk rounds, etc. So I'm going to do it for there. And then also decide who might be harmed and how. As it would be employees, contractors, visitors. Then we put controls in place using a hierarchy control that eliminates substitute engineering, administrative and PPE. And then record your findings, again, standardised forms, and then just review it and update it where necessary.
Yeah, yeah, excellent, excellent. It wasn't like a risk assessment quiz, so don't worry, I wasn't
No, 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 but
asking you
it
to
feels like it.
to give me the. I was like, oh, you did this, or you should have said that. No, don't worry, don't worry. It was just an overview
No,
in the
no.
procedure, so
Uh,
good for obviously it's good that you did go into that bit more detail there. So don't worry,
you
I'm
can
just.
tell. Can you tell I've been overthinking this, man?
When we had the conversation at the beginning, but that's the only first part. But I think
I know.
that's
I
the only
know.
first bit. But I think you've maybe. Yeah, that's fine. This is good.
Yeah,
It's good. It's not an issue. So we're doing well for
yeah,
time. So don't worry. As I said before, if time was pressing on, some people were still on Unit 1 and they're still telling the story. So they're still giving me a life story, and we're like, right, come on, we need to go into Unit 2 now. So it's
yeah.
just flown nicely. Not too much, not too little. If there's
Perfect.
anything that because I've seen your evidence as well. If there was anything I wasn't sure of, then I
Hmm.
would be maybe sort of targeting one unit and saying, tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah,
But looking at your evidence, I make sure submissions are strong. I don't just sign things off. I'll
yeah,
send it back before we get to this stage. So this
yeah,
is kind of, you've already met the requirements of your portfolio and the evidence. This is over and above that. So this kind of just reinforces it, although you've met all the elements. So
yeah,
this is just that kind of extra. Let's have the conversation. Let's talk about it. So, but as I say, I know you don't. I've known you for years. So,
yeah,
in terms of the health and safety kind of side of things and teaching you, so
yeah.
and I've
Nice
saw
one.
you grow over the the years. I've saw you grow and people, I know Donny and he's very good and so
Yeah,
I speak to quite a few people that know you. Well,
yeah,
you
good.
might not know they speak to me, but Donny put me on to you. So Fabio, speak to Fabio recently. So
Yeah, nice boy.
he's
He's a nice wee guy,
he's
yes.
just passed his knee bosh, so that's it. So,
Yeah,
but
aye.
I passed, didn't he? He gets both. Yes, he did.
trying to get my start, Martin, but it's
Yeah.
difficult now because he's literally right out the factory, isn't he? So
Yes, he's just used to get experience. So yeah,
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 so it's just I'm hoping to get him something soon enough, but it's just taking his time.
yeah. He was looking at NVQ level 6. I think he was trying to get his company to fund it. So
Yeah,
that's
good.
that's what he's looking at. So we shall see. We shall see. So in
Yeah.
terms of risk assessments you completed, then, so you did can you remember what you did for the course?
I did a cost assessment and I also did a manual handling assessment.
Did you do any general ones? I can't remember if like an office one or a no area
I
risk
don't think so,
assessment.
no. I don't think so. I
I'm
think it was
sure you would have.
specific.
Ah, you sure? I'll
I'll need to
just
double check, mate.
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
I'm
mind
sure.
that.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. So
But do you know
um
something? I did a hazard. I'm sure it was general. It was a
uh,
general full scope one for it because at the start of the project we were kicking off. We did a hazard, a hire as well. So it'd have probably been around that. I'll need to double check it, mate. I
I'm
can't
sure he
mind. It
did.
was a
Well,
while ago.
usually I tell people to if they've not done it. So it'll be strange if you've
Yeah,
not
well,
done it. So yeah, and it's in the
no, I
training
wouldn't
plan.
get
So yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
I wouldn't get to this. I wouldn't get to this stage if I hadn't.
I mean, if you've
Uh,
done two specifics, then that can I usually try to
yeah,
get some course providers just want one. I like to people to show that they can do a specific as well. Because a lot of people
yeah,
they don't know what a manual handling risk assessment is and they try and use the general form. So,
yeah,
or they do a cost assessment on the standard form you get, your standard risk assessment form.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
as opposed to a questionnaire based cost. So, and can you talk me through? You kind of mentioned this already, but any kind of safe operating procedures or method statements for that you created
Um,
for the course? I think
aye, so safe operating is just regarding new pieces
safe
of
at work
equipment.
is a kind of their official term. So,
Aye, we've a new bit of equipment's come in and we did I called it a standard operating procedure, just a
right,
step by step, uh, how to go through it in easy terms sort of thing, just like, I can't remember what it was I think we spoke about. I think it was we got a new bit of equipment come in and I did an SOP, just um, literally a step by step
yeah,
process. Um, Before you get to this stage, make sure you do this first, sort of thing.
just nice, easy to understand. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah.
Good, good. Excellent. So Unit 6 was looking at proactive monitoring, and then Unit 7 was reactive. So Unit 6, proactive. Can you talk me through any kind of proactive monitoring systems you set up for the organisation? Or maybe they were already in place and you just followed them. But
Yeah, we had quite obviously it's a big company we're working for, so a lot of the things were in place, but we introduced hazard hunt, for instance. We introduced hazard hunting. Just once a week, like spot checks on safety. We get inexperienced people to get involved with it, just so that the youngsters just so that they know how to conduct a hazard hunt.
yeah,
Just to get them involved with it. So we'd also got inspection programs, schedules, put an inspection schedule in place to make sure that we're meeting our management system requirements as well regarding gear inspections and um, safety tours, etc., etc. So
yeah, I think
yeah,
maybe a procedure for safety tour. I think no, was it yourself? Now I'm trying to think. A little one sheet
uh,
procedure on doing safety tours, or usually that's what we
yeah.
recommend people do.
No,
So
that's I did
an
do that. I do
inspection
remember that
procedure.
actually,
Yeah.
Martin. Yeah, with a one-page procedure, frequency of when inspection should be carried out as well. So
We usually
yeah, I
recommend
remember.
just to get people procedural exposure. A lot of people that are involved in health and safety, that's all the hands-on stuff like risk assessments, toolbox talks. But I like to get people exposure in our course anyway, although it's not in the syllabus. But I like it in our course to get people to create the procedures to then implement,
Do you know
everything underneath it. So
the amount of people that I've spoke to, Martin, about this course who do not have the stuff that you have in your course? Do you know what I mean? Like they're doing the bare minimum. I feel with
aye,
shields, for
yeah,
instance, right? Whereas this course is a lot more. Like Joe Spencer, HSE manager for us, he's done this course at the same time as me, and all his layout is all completely different for us. Whereas his is a bit. I just felt like yours, his was. very limited information, whereas this course is over and above. Do you know what I
Aye,
mean?
aye.
At least that's how it felt for me.
Aye, aye.
Aye.
It's making sure that, because at the end of the day, we're looking at, it's a health and safety manager's qualification. You
Yeah.
know, it's for people at a high level. So we
Hmm.
don't want it to be easier than the knee bosh, which I feel that
Yeah.
some NVQ level sixes are probably easier than knee bosh. You know,
Yeah.
so and the things just getting signed off. I don't know what Shields is like, but I know obviously you were Shields and you came to us.
Yeah.
So coming from paying double to, I think you just got a specification, is that correct? And good luck.
I paid the course and I just sort of went, nah, this isn't for me. It was just there you go, sort of thing. And there was no task plans and structure to the course. It was just there you go. Good luck, see you in a year's time or 18 months'
Aye,
time, whatever it is, which is it's not ideal for somebody like myself, you know what I mean?
aye, aye. So love my wee videos. That's it. Yeah. So that
Okay,
voice,
okay.
that voice constant. So that's
Brilliant.
it. Excellent, excellent. I like doing my wee videos. So,
Yeah, it's good, mate.
did you experience any challenges setting up proactive monitoring systems?
Um,
Any difficulties on the Dutch side?
yeah, so,
No?
yeah, I think that it's always the same difficulties, Martin, in terms of we've not done this for the last 20 years. Why are we doing it now? Sort of
Why
thing.
do we need to
That's
do
that's
this? That's it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So it's this is bills, all this carry on, you know. So there's always challenges when anything new comes into an organisation. Nobody likes change, do they? So I would say, yeah, probably every single day I experience a new challenge.
yeah. Excellent. How did you communicate the findings of proactive monitoring? Did you have like meetings and reports and
Yeah, morning
briefings
meetings,
and
safety reports, discuss any findings at briefings in the morning, or the amount of toolbox talk, or again, we have an action tracker, so all our findings are in that and they get sent around on a weekly basis
right
for emails, etc.
and committees and stuff like that? So
Yeah, we've got minutes of meetings and
unit 10,
safety
yeah.
committees, aye.
We'll come on to unit 10 anyway. So number 7, reactive monitoring.
Yeah.
So looking at, after an event has happened, can you talk me through the steps you took to create the loss event procedure, whether you called it an accident reporting procedure or incident reporting? It's just a terminology thing, but can you talk me through the creating of that and maybe having to create the forms if you had to create forms or maybe they were already there? So
So again, it's similar to the risk assessment. I don't want to go War and Peace again on it, but it's again, it's identifying what sort of incidents we could face, what type of losses, what type of injuries are going to be sustained, or we could end up with again financial impact, reputational impact, who's dealing with what, who's reporting, what methodologies are we going to use? Is it going to be, I don't know, top set root cause analysis or Kishi, Kishikawa, is it? A Kishikawa, the fishbone type?
fishbone, yeah,
Yeah, so these are the sort of things that we were discussing when implementing instant reporting procedure. Also, how we're going to review things and escalate stuff. These are all things that we put into it as well.
yeah. Excellent, excellent. And can you talk me through one loss event you were involved in? Just one, if you can
Um,
remember. But
I'm trying to think what one it was I put in the report again, but um, lots of events I've been involved in is we had a stabbing pin fall from a Houston crane, 400 feet, and it fell. It must have weighed about 700 kilograms straight through the barge foreman's office. They had a container as an office on the main deck where there's lifting operations, which should never have happened. But he just left the office 1.5 minutes before, and the pins went through the roof, through the guy's seat, and through the floor. Project was closed down for 6 weeks. Um,
Jesus,
and he was very, very lucky. So, but the crane operator saw him go in, but he never saw him go out. So he saw the pin falling and the mental impact that had on him because he thought the guy was still in there, which he wasn't, thankfully.
wow,
So we did that. I did the initial investigation. Then with a external team came out because of the level it got to.
aye,
So there's a lot of did a lot of root cause analysis and identifying the immediate underlying and root causes. And then we put some corrective actions in place as well and preventative actions and ensure that lessons were learned.
Excellent, excellent, and very similar to your kind of proactive, communicating this with the organisation. You have like maybe safety alerts or whatever you want to call it in your organisation or committee meetings and
So we would have a meeting after an incident of that magnitude. We would have a meeting probably straight away with the onshore team, emergency response team, and just updating them and what's going on, what's happened. And an incident of that magnitude tends to go on for weeks. It's not just a couple of days. So you're having regular updates as you're getting new information every other day. Excuse me. Um, and time it takes for root cause analysis to get done, and yeah, it's quite a long-winded process.
yeah, that's good. And did you have to report anything to enforcement authorities, depending on what country you're in, but HSE if
Yes,
it's this country or
uh,
insurance company or
yeah, we've had a couple of riddles at Millport as well. Guy was off work for over 7 days, so this over 7 day rule applies when it comes to riddles. So yeah, we did a few of that through the HSE website as well.
yeah. Any visits or
Do you know if I've not had any visits from the HSE so far, Martin?
overseas or were you overseas as well as part?
I was overseas. I was overseas during the course as well. Yep. So I was in Dubai and Indonesia as well.
Right.
Indonesia, we did have a visit from their local authority, but it was not quite like the
Cash in
HSE
hand.
local authority here. Aye.
If you give us money, we'll turn a blind eye. No, I work in Morocco, so I know exactly what it's like. So,
Yeah,
well, when I used to work actually in the hotels and the police and all, money talks, unfortunately,
yeah,
which is
that's
good
it.
for the person who's about to be imprisoned or go to fine there,
Yeah,
but not good for the country as a whole in corruption. So, yeah, that's it. That's it. Turning blind eyes and the
yeah,
dodgy officers. That's it. So, Unit 8, and then it's straight onto Unit 10. So two more units, but Unit 9 we covered when we did management systems in Unit 2. So Unit
yeah,
8 was all about emergency procedures. Okay, so can you talk me through different types of procedures you created, whether it's fire, first aid, and maybe I think it was a spill you did, was it?
yeah. So we
Yeah,
we did a fire procedure. Again, it's the whole roles and responsibilities and arrangements side of that. We also done a spill procedure for, I can't remember exactly what it was, but um, spill procedure, was it not a COVID-19 procedure I did as well?
or maybe it was COVID-19 then, I'm trying to think.
I did a COVID-19 procedure too. Did a spill
Right.
procedure, COVID-19 procedure. Um, yeah, COVID's a bit outdated now to be fair, but it worked.
Virus outbreak, something you could call it then,
Yeah,
couldn't you?
yeah,
So
virus outbreak, yeah.
norovirus
So,
or
and
something, or yeah,
yeah, and we
that's
focused on obviously quarantine and having areas in place and emergency response team members, how we're going to handle it, segregation, all this stuff. So
I don't know if COVID's
certain people,
still a thing, is it?
it's just a
Don't know.
part of life now, isn't it?
Don't know. You don't
It's
hear
a part of
anything now,
life.
so
Yeah,
that's it. Aye, that's it. I don't know if in the UK still diagnosed as COVID. I don't know. So I just self-diagnose it. I think I've got COVID. I'm staying off work. That's it, in case I infect everybody. So
yeah.
that's it.
Also,
Sorry.
sorry, on you go. Sorry, Martin, I'm a bit rabble in there. You continue, mate.
Not first aid as well. You did first aid needs, so first aid procedure, first aid needs risk assessment, did you? Or first aid needs
Yeah,
assessment? I think you
did a
did as
first
well.
aid
I
needs
remember them.
assessment as
So
well. That was the first time that I did one of them in Taiwan as well. But again, before I did this course, I wasn't familiar with these sort of things, So it was
just
good
maybe
experience.
thoughts
And now,
theoretically, wasn't it? Not
yeah,
actually
and that's it.
practically.
And it gives you a good. Now I use it all the time, so and ensure that when we're putting people in vessels and we've got enough coverage first aid wise for in comparison with the amount of people that's there. So that was a good learner.
Yeah, excellent. So, I was about to use going to Unit 10 there. I've not finished Unit 8, sorry. Getting too excited. So, and did you test the procedures? What sort of test did you do? Was it maybe a fire or a spill or how did
Yeah,
you?
so testing the procedures, we did. muster drills, escape evacuation drills from the offices, again, spill response as well. Onshore and offshore. So we've got marine based and land based spill kits, etc. So we just got all that out and recorded it, did a drill report, sent it round. Again, any actions needed for, I don't know, replenishments for equipment, etc. We get into the tracker and make sure it's ordered.
Good, excellent. And did you have to deal with any real emergencies during your course? During the course,
Yes, had to give somebody CPR in Taiwan.
did you? You did
Oh,
personally?
yes, yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. That's why I'm not there now, Martin. I was supposed to go over there till October, but I was there for 7 weeks. And the first week I caught up in a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. The third
Oh,
week I
I
had to
remember
get,
you
had
emailed
to
that.
give
Yeah,
third week I
yes.
had to give someone CPR, and then the sixth week I narrowly avoided an explosion in a building. So I thought, time to go home. So yeah, that
Jesus.
was but to answer your question regarding the CPR, there was a few failings in our emergency response plan in relation to the emergency response phone number. We were calling it, and the local Taiwanese guy was answering the phone like he was answering the phone to his mates. And we kept putting the phone down because we thought we had the wrong number. So 3 or 4 times we tried that, and eventually it's like he just didn't use the right um, vocabulary when emergency phone rings. He's just answered it like hello rather than hello emergency response. How can I help?
Aye.
You know. So that was a big lesson learned. The guy survived and all, by the way, so that's
Did
a
he?
happy ending.
Wow.
Aye,
Gee, I wasn't
20
going to ask
minutes
that. I
we're at it
wasn't
for.
sure what to ask there. I think glad you told
Yeah,
me.
no,
So,
he's 20 minutes we was getting CPR for, so that was
wow.
horrific. Yeah.
That defib they got him and then
We
straight
got
to
20 minutes CPR, and then he get 4 blasts in the ambulance with defib.
yeah. Gee whiz,
He,
survived, eh?
he, he woke up and he woke up and he says to me, literally right after it, I says, "Are you okay?" And he went, "I've not got any more neurological issues than I had before." I was like, at least he's still got his sense of humour, you know. So he's
Gee
absolutely
whiz.
fine. He's absolutely fine. Yeah.
Gee whiz. Did you have the whole family coming round to meet you and bring you
So
dinner?
I had to call his wife, and it wasn't just me. It was me and another 2 people. So the three were taking turns, you know, because it's quite heavy going that.
Aye, aye.
Um, but yeah, it's just the images of it, Martin. It's horrific. You know, it's taken me some time to get that out of my head, but it's not fully out of my head. But it's still, at least I know that if I'm ever in that situation, I can actually make a difference rather than thinking I'd make it worse for years. You know what I mean?
Aye, aye, exactly.
Uh,
Earthquake as well, eh? Gee whiz.
no, it was 7.2 magnitude, man.
That's a big one, isn't
Building
it?
was moving. Yeah, building was moving about 2 or 3 meters left to right.
Gee whiz. Was your building alright
Uh,
then, I take it?
Fine, yeah. But I was reading Taiwanese building regulations from midnight onwards. Afterwards, I never slept.
Yeah. Gee whiz. Gee whiz.
Yeah,
That's it. Stick to the vessel. That's it.
yeah,
Gee whiz. Scary stuff. Scary stuff, eh?
yeah,
And did you have to liaise with any external? Well, you've kind of just mentioned that you had the Taiwanese, you liaised with the Taiwanese emergency services, and
yeah. And
well,
thankfully, there was a local Taiwanese woman there who did all the translation for us. So that was a big.
I was not
That
the
was a big.
Taiwanese that was speaking to the guy on the phone then.
No,
Right.
so no, so we had that. Luckily, there's a wee woman who was passing us, and she realised what was going on, and she called straight away. So she did all the local translation for us, you know, which made a big difference.
Gee whiz, eh? Crazy.
Yeah.
So let's final unit, unit 10. Okay, so just kind of more general questions. So why do you think it's important to keep yourself up to date with health and safety developments and changes then?
To keep up with legislation and changes and technologies, and just keeping up with how the world's evolving, and being able to provide an organisation with suitable support, health and safety support and advice.
Excellent, good, good. And keeping yourself up to date with Taiwanese building regulations, that's it.
Keep,
So,
keep myself
uh,
aye, keep myself up to date
and
more
the
than anything.
country, well, for yourself, it's looking at the countries you're going to as well. If you're going internationally as
Yeah,
well, it's because obviously if you're traveling to Dubai and do we use local standards, or would we use our company standard, which is higher than local? So
Yeah,
there
that's
may
exactly
be
that's
some
exactly it.
countries where the local legislation is higher, maybe, of certain
You know,
specific things,
you know
so
what I realised, Martin, was when I was obviously I've been all over the world for the last 13 years, and the UK standard is sought after around the world. And then when I came back to work in the UK, I'm looking, I'm thinking, wow, this is sought after around the world, you
amazing.
know. So it's sometimes you get a wee shock, and it's not quite as what it should be, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, it is well thought of in all these different countries.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I was round the pool yesterday and just kind of I go for my wee walk around the complex out all day. And the pool
Mhm.
guy's there. He's there's like drains that are around the pool. So the pool plant room
Yeah.
is actually underneath, like at the side of the pool, but underneath, not underneath the pool, but kind of at the side. It's not in a room. So it's basically drain covers that are removed, and then
Hmm.
sets of ladders that goes down, and all these drain covers are removed to two different sections. You're probably talking a 2.5, 3 meter drop into all this equipment, machinery, and water. And you're just thinking,
Hmm.
there's nothing there to stop people, and nobody warning. There's nothing. I was just like,
Yeah.
I walked around it, and I was like, I took a detour, of course, not close to it. But I
Yeah.
thought, because I've seen inside that room, I've seen the guy going down because she lost her wee necklace thing that fell into the,
Hmm.
and he's in there, like in the water. He's trying to find this necklace. I'm like, so, but
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's completely different, different world. So different world. And so, why do you think it's important to communicate with people outside the organisation? And next question.
Um, Everybody's got new learnings and probably different experiences that I probably don't have, and it's good to tap into yourself, for instance, or people like Joe, my HSE manager for the UK. He's a good knowledgeable guy. So it's good to just bounce ideas off people, and that maybe other people have got better improvements or um, suggestions that we can implement on our projects as well. So
Yeah, good, good,
I like to keep good relations.
excellent. And compared to the beginning of the course, how would you now rate your kind of research skills and communication skills?
I think I've always been a pretty good communicator, Martin. In all honesty, I think that's probably one of my strongest points, you know. But in terms of research, you're always learning,
Yeah,
and it's important to keep researching. And I think at times we all get a bit complacent in our roles and think, all right, we're
don't need
working
to.
within a management system that we don't have to look out with the management system, which is this course has absolutely taught me that no, you do need to keep researching. There's always new things to
Yeah,
learn and bring in and stuff that you don't know. That's the beauty of safety is that there's always new things cropping up.
that's what I mean. That's it. It's a learning job. I call it a learning job when I teach when he was. It's a learning job. You're always learning, which is good. It's good for the brain. It's good for the mind, and
Hmm.
stops, early onset of Alzheimer's if you're constantly learning, and, dementia if you're constantly using your brain to learn new things, so as
Yeah,
opposed to sitting staring at YouTube and Snapchat and screens, So,
yeah.
so and your ability to create policies, procedures, risk assessment, things like that, safe systems of work.
I think after this course, it's definitely enhanced.
Yeah,
Again, I never ever created a policy before because I've always worked for companies that's had them in place. So it was good to do that from scratch, and then the whole makeup that comes from that with procedures and everything adheres to the policy. So that was good, a good learner. Obviously, I've got experience with procedure writing, risk assessments, say systems of work, etc. But I think around the policy itself was the biggest learner for me.
right. So the next question, first I need to ask, are you at work at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah. And is there anybody listening?
No.
No, that's fine. So, what's your next career path, and what do you plan to do with the qualification?
My next career path is, Martin, I'm hoping to. I really want with Van Ord, the constantly manager coordinator, and I feel like I'm going backwards and forwards at times. So I want to nail down a manager role, hopefully in the UK, um, and develop teams, work on putting a management system together, having the time to do it, and really get my teeth into a project from start to finish. That's what I'm looking for now.
Yeah, good, good, excellent, excellent. So, fantastic. You got any questions before I finish the meeting? or we can ask it afterwards.
I'm okay, Martin.
Yeah,
I don't have any more
excellent,
questions now.
excellent. So what I'll do is I'll stop the recording, and the time, as I say, 13:01 on the 21st of the 5th, 2025.